Did you see when Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, came and visited? There was a joke Trump made about Canada being the 51st state. And we all kind of got a good laugh about that. You know, he'd be a governor. And all right, I don't want to make Canada the 51st state. I wanted to make it like the 51st through 62nd state. How many provinces do they have? Like 13 or something? But at some point, both parties stopped expanding, stopped saying, okay, well, what are we going to take over next? All right, we got the whole Louisiana Purchase. What do you want to get next? Let's get Texas next. Okay, what do you want to get after that? Well, we could do the Oregon Compromise with the Brits and Canada, and we get that locked up. And okay, well, let's have a war with Mexico, and we can have the whole damn Southwest. Okay, now that we have that, let's actually buy a little chunk of that bottom part of New Mexico and Arizona. We'll call it the Gadsden Purchase. That'd be cool. What do you want to do next? Let's go buy this chunk of land from Russia up there. What's it called? Alaska. Okay, cool. We'll get it. Well, how about we make that old chain of islands out there? We'll make that into a state. And when my parents were born, there was only 48 stars on the flag. Now there's 50. And this is the longest the United States of America has ever gone without adding a state. Why? We're not supposed to be stagnant. You know, there's a saying in business, if you ain't growing, you're dying. Well, we stopped growing. Are we dying? I mean, it feels like we're dying off. It used to be the norm for the first 200 something years of America. We were always adding territory. We were always looking at our borders, but in staring out and saying, how can we fix that? Not turning around and looking inside our own belly button and say, how can I fix that? Why not? Look at Canada as it is, just culturally speaking, just their norms. They're pretty much diet America. Except for Montreal and Quebec City over there where they speak French. Except for those dudes, can you even tell half the time when someone's from Canada? Can you tell if a dude is from Vancouver or Toronto? Wait, aren't you from Canada? Kimberly, aren't you from Canada? I think she's not listening. Thanks for listening to the James Show. No, she's typing away. I think she's from Canada. There was a news anchor I worked with in New Orleans. She was from Canada. You don't even think about it. Let's think of all the people. Jim Carrey, Justin Bieber, all these very important people. But Canada's always been diet America. And it seems to be the further west you go, the more Americanized it is. Not only do they speak English, they speak it with our accent. I mean, you can kind of tell Canadian accent about, okay, don't you know, things like that. But they don't sound like the Brits. They don't sound like the Australians. They don't sound like the New Zealanders. They sound like us. They are us. And so, we have the nice overlap with hockey, and they're the only country that plays our version of football. At least it's a derivative of it. We're both really big into basketball. We watch the same TV shows, same movies, same music, same culture, basically. How about we just say, hey, British Columbia, y'all have a referendum. If more than 50% of y'all say you want to join the United States, you can be the 51st state. We also extend that offer to Saskatchewan, Alberta, what's the other ones, like Winnebago and Molson Ice or something. What are the Canadian provinces? I'm kidding. I know them. We won't go all the way to maybe not Quebec and maybe not Ottawa. You're in just because I'd kind of like to have Toronto, but Manitoba, you're in. You're basically just America with a little bit more snow. Why is that a joke? Why aren't we adding states? Why doesn't that bother anybody else that we're not adding states? Why that doesn't bother anyone else that we hadn't added one? When was the last one? It was like Alaska or Hawaii in 58, 59, 59. Thank you, Garrett. Yeah, so 1959. It's been how long? 65 years since we added a state. We need to get on that. That's not what Americans do. Americans don't go 65 years without adding a state. And what have we been doing in the meantime? Giving ourselves more goodies from the public treasury, voting ourselves more checks from government largesse, putting the power of all these important life decisions in the hands of politicians in Austin and D.C. This is what we've done. This is what we've traded in. Liberty for security, expansion for collapse, freedom for safety. That's not very American. We need to stop that.